right? Or the Golden State Warriors, you know? How do you want to...
The Golden State Warriors just won a championship.
No. Take away KD. I say,
you can't take away KD.
The first one.
They don't win that championship without KD.
The first one. They probably do win that one.
No, they don't.
First one, they don't. They should have won the second one.
They won one without him, right?
They won the first one, and they should have won the second one before Draymond Green got suspended.
Did you look at LeBron's stats during last year's finals?
No, but I will say...
If KD wasn't on the floor...
The pre-KD... Warriors won. They won.
And the year that LeBron...
So did the Cavaliers. They beat them too.
But that year, we all know that if Draymond Green did not get suspended, it would have been 2-0. LeBron.
You know what? You know what that is? That's a bitter fan.
But to help your narrative of the Miami Heat versus the Golden State Warriors, you're talking about organic. Like I had, my dad always said, you basically you dance with the girl what brung you at the day, that kind of thing. So when you have to go and make a super team,
do you know how
it's not so much fun.
Do you know how sweet it would be if Philly, the Sixers win the championship? Like this whole trust the process thing, and then they end up. That's
of course all their picks are
number one. We're not talking about how the Yankees approach everything.
How would that be sweet? They lost intentionally 4 or 5 years in a row to build that team. That doesn't matter. But the Yankees getting one free agent matters.
You guys already got one big free agent.
If there's one thing I've learned being old, it's that the history book.
My goodness.
The history book doesn't show. Not as old as Dave, mind you, but the history book never shows when you look at it.
It just says champions.
It just says champions.
It just says champions.
Yeah. So you know what?
Except for what
you know it right now, but when it's all said and done, it just says champions.
So with that said, 96, 98, 99, 2000, 2009. Let's go back.
They may have won all those, but you know who did not draft them? Brian Cashman.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And listen, I like Brian Cashman, but I don't.
And we all know the Mets have been in the World Series more recently than the Yankees.
Oh, isn't that a fact? Isn't that a Snapple fact?
But,
hey, you know another Snapple fact?
The only successful. We'll get to Snapple fact to Tchaikovsky in a second. But the only recent vintage success of a New York sports team has been the Giants, right? 1969 for the Jets, 86
what are you
for the.
Defining as vintage, though?
A championship.
Well, I would say 2009 Yankees is close.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Pretty close.
But because it's this century. But beyond that, it was beyond that Jets, Knicks, Rangers, 94 Rangers, right? I mean that's
94,
84, 83 Islanders, you know. Devils are 96.
No,
Devils
2003.
Oh, it's a different era. Yeah, different guys. Different team, yeah.
You guys remember 2018 Mets? Right? Right?
2015. Listen.
Get me started on that.
Anybody remember the 2015 World Series?
Yeah, we do.
Listen.
Great job, Lucas Duda.
Royals fans did.
I'm going to do this.
Don't forget the
The Liberty.
That's right. Yeah, Liberty. I actually watched the Liberty too.
Oh my!
I'm a Liberty fan.
That's your problem.
I'll do this.
I was the weekend building. I get to watch the Long Island Nets.
You watched the Long Island Nets, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, Mark watched the Delaware 96ers.
No, they changed their name to Delaware 87ers. Changed their name.
87ers. I knew it was some obscure year that meant nothing.
87ers.
No, the 1787.
When they ratified the Constitution. Yep.
But
what did they trade their name to? I'm surprised you don't know this off your head. You're gonna actually
this happened yesterday.
I hate the Binghamton Mets or the Binghamton Rumble Ponies.
Yeah. No. It's a great name.
I just imagine these grown bronies.
Here's the name.
New Orleans baby cakes.
Yeah.
Is that
Delaware?
Yeah, that's real. They're I think the Marlins.
Oh my God.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They have the jumbo fish too, the Marlins.
Delaware Blue Coats.
The Rangers have the Rough Riders.
Well, we do have the Blue Jackets.
In Columbus.
Yeah.
Which relates to the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah.
This is going to sound a little erotic to me, guys. I'm sorry.
The what?
Blue Coats.
No, sorry. I'm just curious. As far as the Met fans, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
You've got the worst farm system in the world. So when you start losing players to injury, what are you going to be doing? Putting bubble gum on the tire?
But don't forget that a year ago, the number one prospect in baseball was Rosario. Right. So but that's the problem. That's fake news. That's a false narrative when you talk about farm systems. Because when your prospects make the pros, they stop being prospects because they're in the pros. So now you have to rank different guys.
Right.
So
that was my point. Did you have a horrible farm system? And when guys start going,
Dominic Smith was considered top 20 prospect. prospects and
he's wonderful
in the baseball. You know, it's
this is the thing about the Mets.
You also don't play for the minors; you play for the majors.
This is the perfect season for the Mets because all the hype is across town. We could just chill this year and do what we got to do.
And I'm not saying the Mets are going to have a outstanding year, River, but in National League Baseball, if you have two stud starters such that they do, that matters.
It matters.
That's spawn and Spain. What's that? Spawn and Sane and pray for rain kind of stuff.
Remember one thing, Chris. Met pitchers never get hurt.
Well, DeGrom never gets hurt.
I've never heard of such a thing.
You know,
Mets pitchers getting hurt?
Medical staff.
You know what? There's when it comes to the big, tall Texans like Syndergaard, like Nolan Ryan, like Roger Clemens, like other big Texans, strong guys. I won't say Kerry Wood, because that was Dusty Baker's doing. But they don't get hurt. You know, hard throwing righties from Texas just don't get hurt. I mean, I'm making a huge generalization, but they just throw the ball differently.
I say this once a year, and I say it to you Met fans. Lucy's going to pull the football out.
Listen.
Oh, that's peanuts.
Listen.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not. Listen.
And I'll let you go with this. Isn't it amazing that the owners in baseball won without saying a word as far as collusion?
Oh, come on! Is anybody done with this?
Let's make what's the list? Who comes to mind? Because I always think of Lucas Duda. Who comes to mind as an unsigned free agent right now?
The last big
one of those
guy
Royals,
went.
or did they all sign?
No, because Hosmer went to the Padres, right?
And Moustakas went to the Royals?
last big one, Holland just signed
today.
Oh, he did.
Just signed today.
Yeah, that's what I said before. Greg Holland signed with the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, that's right.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Greg Holland.
Now,
and he got like $14 million.
He's going Dutch with them. Is there a? His name's Holland. You say? Is there a? No one got that. Is there a? Or they got it?
I got it. I got it.
They didn't. Like now, if you sign Greg Holland, now what does he go through? Do you have to send him down to Florida?
I have no idea what the process is.
Yeah, I mean, he's not ready to be. I mean, I know he's a reliever, but he's not ready.
I mean, he's their closer, right?
Yeah.
You just signed Greg Holland.
Where do you put him? Send him down to extended spring training in Florida.
I think they just need to focus on that after the series because they're going to lose this one.
No, it'll be weeks. This guy can't come in and throw 90-something
unless he's been.
Exactly. And then he's doing simulated batting.
I think the last notable name would be Bautista.
Let me hang up. Scott Boras just called. I'm getting
Melky still's out there. Melky Cabrera.
John Neese is available.
Stephen Drew's out there.
To his question,
Stephen Drew. I was making a joke.
To his question, none of this was due to collusion. This is nonsense. This is just
it's the economics of baseball, and it's the collective bargaining agreement which allow this to happen.
And it's also on top of that, you have the big free agent class coming out next year. So teams are holding out.
Yeah. And there is no penalty. You know, what happened is, and it's rare to say this, but go after those small market teams that took their revenue sharing money and did nothing with it. Because it was supposed to have them spend it. They were supposed to take that money and spend it on their team, making them better and all that kind of stuff. And they didn't. They didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
You know, and the Marlins are just, all of a sudden today, watching the Cardinals play, there's Ozuna in the outfield, and they had Stanton for a second, right? There was a deal in place for the Cardinals and the Marlins to have Stanton, and Stanton said, Nope.
I'm going to go to the Yankees.
What's your Snapple fact?
Which was a great
choice.
I wanted to get my Snapple fact before. This is about the droughts we were talking about. I want to do this Steve Summer style.
Oh, good. We're going to do this.
No. He's now 70 years old.
That moment you realize the Knicks have a bigger NBA drought than the Nets.
That's what you're really worried about right now?
No. Because technically, the Knicks have a bigger drought in winning the finals than the Nets because the Nets joined the league after the Knicks have already won.
Mark, if that's what really going to make you feel better about your Nets, then I think that you should take... And all I see is a...
Where you play doesn't matter in the NBA anymore. It just doesn't matter.
exactly.
So I mean, look, LeBron's not coming here. He's not coming to the Nets.
He's not coming nowhere.
He's not.
I went to a Nets Heat game in Newark at the Prudential Center.
Yeah.
Everybody was a Heat fan, but nobody was wearing a Heat jersey.
Wait, a Nets Heat game in New Jersey?
Yeah, like back in the day. You know, not back in the day, like back in the day.
But that's when the Nets was good.
No one's wearing a Heat
But that's when the Nets was good. No. This is like 2 years after they had the worst season ever.
Oh, okay.
Like the last year in Jersey. The last year in Jersey when Darren Williams was the point guard and they had Brooke Lopez and you know, Kim K.
How did they even sell tickets for that game? How did they even sell tickets for that game?
No, it was sold out.
Cheap.
Was it?
It was like the second free. It was like the last week of the Nets playing in Jersey too.
That's unbelievable.
They did a raffle outside of the stadium.
Hey, listen, we know you're really upset about us leaving, but hey, $20 tickets. Come out to watch the Nets beat the Heat. Hey.
You know what Chris Christie said about the Nets leaving?
What did he say?
He said, "Goodbye, good riddance. If you don't want to stay here, we don't want you."
Which is exactly what the people of New Jersey said to Chris Christie, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, he was turning it out.
And Jared Kushner and his father-in-law as well. But the Craig Carton launched a podcast today.
No way.
Yeah.
How about that?
And do you know who his guests were?
No.
Chris Christie.
Oh my
Was
God.
his guest. So here is former federal prosecutor Chris Christie
Is he famous?
going on federally indicted Craig Carton show.
No. He used to be a former famous federal prosecutor.
Has that all been squared away yet?
No,
Still well in the...
They got to wait for the Mangano Vendito trial to end first, then they'll go on to the...
We forgot to mention, this is an award-winning, award-nominated
That's right.
WHPC.
Well, we do that on the legal ID.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger than the OJ case.
we were awarded for best training manual.
Well, it was Craig Carton had on this. Today was Don Iris's last day, by the way,
because they cut his contract. And he's retired.
He took the buyout.
Yeah,
he took the buyout. And Carton had Chris Christie and somebody else as his first guest today. Google it to see who Carton had on. It was Chris Christie and someone else that you'd say, of course, that he had him on.
Chris Sims, was that?
No. It was a bigger name than that. It was a bigger name than that, and more of a controversial kind of figure guy who went on with him and everything. And then Boomer Esiason is...
Oh, was it the running back from Westchester who was on the Ravens?
No, Ray Rice. That would be a little too crazy. Couldn't have Ray Rice.
But I thought him and they're both kind of Westchester guys.
Yeah, but no, Ray Rice is... third rail kind of stuff in terms of, you can't go there.
Is Adrian Peterson on the team?
Well, the third rail is...
No, right? He didn't sign to a team yet.
No.
It might not get... Maybe somebody get hurt. You know how the NFL goes.
He still has Adrian Peterson. He still has gas in the tank. So, it's worth taking a look at him. Is Bartolo Colon in baseball?
He's back with the Braves, right?
Not with the Braves. The Rangers or something?
Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, it's on a minor league deal now.
Yeah.
Because he needs he wants to be the most wins of any Dominican pitcher.
He needs like 6.
They said that I think he's supposed to pitch their second or third game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's
I remember that now.
Game.
You're right.
Yeah,
Fat chance.
So
516-572-7440 516-572-7440. The name of the program that you're listening to is called Sports Talk. We're here at 90.3 WHPC, WHPC HD, NCCRadio.org. We're here every Thursday evening, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
We got a new website?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, where have you been?
I think you're.
Chris, tell them about it.
It's nccradio.org, and it'll bring you in. So you don't have to say all those. Before it was ncc.edu/WHPC. Now it's nccradio.org. Also find us on the iTunes, on the TuneIn Radio, and find us on the iHeartRadio and TuneIn.com.
Cool.
And in fact, we're going to go back to podcasting the show.
Yeah, but it was a problem. I mentioned that before.
So after the show is over, probably tomorrow morning, I will send our the staff here description of what happened on the show tonight, which I don't really know. I'll figure it out. And, and then we'll talk about what we talk. This way, we'll get it out there so people can listen to the musings of Cameron Bernagora, Nick Orenberger, Tristan Hamilton, Mark Tukowski, and myself, Chris.
Was the guest Anthony Scaramucci?
It wasn't, but it was along those lines. But you couldn't have Christie in the Mooch.
I couldn't find it.
Christie in the Mooch. You couldn't have him.
That would be hysterical.
So at least Mooch got like 5 days under Trump. Christie got the Heisman. No, you can't go.
By the way, iHeartMedia 5 Trust Chapter 11.
Oh, I know. That's why. They've been Chapter 11 for a while. Yeah.
So who knows how much longer we'll be on the...
Well, just all the whole radio is a business is Chapter 11.
Well, it's nothing to do with that. They had a leverage buyout.
Well, it's what happened with Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Bain Capital.
Oh, their founder died like a week later.
Yeah,
that was pretty eerie.
But he took his money out years ago.
Mitt Romney was part of that.
Bain Capital. Yeah, absolutely. Bain Capital and Vornado Realty Trust. A realty trust. This is what private equity firms did. I had it in my last job. They take all the cash out, and then because you're an established business, they borrow.